Have you ever wondered how a tiny startup explodes into a global giant? Or maybe why some huge, successful companies just disappear? Well, today we're diving deep into the life story of a business, from its very first steps to its biggest make or break decisions. We're going to look at the whole roller coaster ride so you can see what it really takes to succeed. And let's kick things off with this gem from the entrepreneur Richard Branson. He just hits the nail on the head, doesn't he? The entire life of a business is one big learning experience. It's packed with challenges, you're going to make mistakes, but those are also your biggest opportunities to grow. So, to get our heads around this journey, we use a really cool model called the business life cycle. The best way to think of it is like a roadmap. It breaks down a company's entire life into these distinct stages, kind of like how a person grows from a baby to a toddler to a teenager and so on. So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to follow a business from the beginning, watch it grow up, see it hit its peak, and then face those massive choices that decide its future. Okay, so let's really lean into this idea, because it's pretty wild when you think about it. Businesses are a lot like people. I mean, check this out. Just like you and me, no two businesses are exactly the same. They've got their own names, their own personalities, their own unique identities. And just like us, they face challenges, they can win or lose, and they absolutely need other people, customers, employees, partners to survive. All right, let's get into stage one. This phase is all about one thing: survival. Think of the business like a newborn. It's fragile, it's new to the world, and it's fighting like crazy just to stay alive. And if you want to know how tough that fight is, look at this number. A full 33% of new businesses don't even make it past their first birthday. That is a huge, sobering number, and it just shows you the intense do-or-die pressure of this stage. In this table here, it just lays out the cold, hard facts. You can see the goal is just survival. But what's the biggest problem? Lack of money. Almost every time. Sales are slow, they're unpredictable, and the risk level, it's through the roof. So let's put it this way. If you were to start a business tomorrow, these are the three big hurdles you'd face right out of the gate. You're constantly worried about cash flow, you're trying to make enough sales just to keep the lights on, and you're doing it all in a fog of uncertainty with no real idea what's coming next. Okay, but for the businesses that survive that chaotic first stage, they hit the scale up. You can think of this as the company's teenage years. It's a massive growth spurt, it's exciting, it's chaotic, and everything is happening all at once. Now, sales are exploding. You've got a real customer base. But look how the challenges totally flip. The danger isn't failing anymore, it's growing too fast. You risk losing control, moving away from what made you special, and you're constantly hunting for more money to fuel that growth. So, after that massive growth spurt, we hit stage 3. The plateau. The business has officially made it. It's stable, successful, and everyone knows its name. But here's the crazy part. New dangers start to show up right when you're at the top. So at this point, you're a market leader. But if you look at the numbers, you start to see a worrying sign. Sales growth is slowing down. Things are flattening out. The biggest enemy now is complacency, getting too comfortable. And the management that got you here, it can become too slow and too rigid to adapt. Now, a fantastic case study of a company that aced this stage is Michael Hill Jewelry. They were already a huge successful brand, but they flat out refused to get complacent. They dodged that plateau by aggressively expanding into new countries, always looking for new ways to grow, even when they were already on top. And that brings us to the final and most critical stage, the crossroads. This is it, the moment of truth. The business has to make a decision that will define its future, because one thing's for sure, it can't just stay the same forever. The first path, and the one everyone fears, is decline. This is where sales start to fall, profits dry up, and the business gets caught in a downward spiral that is incredibly hard to escape. This picture really shows the brutal end result of decline, and it's almost always caused by one thing: a failure to adapt. The market changed, technology changed, customers changed, and the business just didn't. And once you're in that spiral, it becomes a vicious cycle. It's hard to borrow money because banks see you as a risk. Your suppliers get nervous and start demanding cash up front. And your best employees, they see the writing on the wall and start looking for a new job. Okay, the second path at the crossroads is stagnation. You might hear this called a steady state. This is where a business pretty much decides to just tread water. It keeps things ticking over, but there's no innovation, no growth, no looking for new customers. Now, this might sound safe, right? Just hold steady, but it's a trap. Because by not investing in research or new ideas, the business becomes a sitting duck. And when a new competitor or a new technology comes along, which it always does, that steady business has no way to respond. It usually slides right into decline. But there is a third path, a more hopeful one, and that's renewal. This is for the brave companies that stare their challenges right in the face and decide to completely reinvent themselves to find new growth. And the absolute best example of this is Lego. They were in real trouble. Kids were ditching their bricks for video games. So what did they do? They made massive, bold moves. They signed deals with huge brands like Star Wars and Harry Potter. And then, and this is amazing, they went and made the Lego Movie. They didn't just survive, they thrived and became bigger than ever before. And that really brings us to the final thought here. Renewal is not easy. It often takes the most radical change. It requires real vision, a ton of courage, and a very special kind of leadership to take a massive company that's starting to plateau and launch it on a brand new path. So I'll leave you with this question. What skills do you think a leader needs to pull something like that off?